Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into something really fundamental, a topic we all think about, the meaning of love. We're using this unique source. It's a collection of, well, really deep reflections from an introduction document. It explores love today, in a world that can feel pretty cynical. So our mission is to unpack these ideas. What does it really mean to understand love, to seek it out when cynicism is kind of all around us?
And it starts with this powerful thought from Jack Kornfield, doesn't it? This idea you can actually converse with our heart directly.
Converse with the heart.
Yeah, like ancient cultures did. They treated the heart like a friend. But, modern life, we've sort of lost that connection. We're just so busy that deep internal chat feels lost.
Right.
So this deep dive, it's really an invitation to try and get that back.
And the source itself gives us such a personal way in. The author talks about a time years back recovering from a really long separation, nearly 15 years, and just feeling this overwhelming grief, an abyss, she calls it, deep despair. But right then, in that really dark place, something unexpected showed up. Public art.
Public art. Interesting.
Yeah, it was this simple graffiti on construction walls near Yale University, painted in bright colors, almost like a kid did it. And the words were just, "The search for love continues even in the face of great odds."
Wow.
Spread across the whole block. And she says it just lifted her spirits every time she saw it. It was like a lifeline.
I can imagine.
It restored her faith, pulled her back from that fear that, maybe love wasn't real or she'd never find it.
And what's really striking is how that connection started these like imaginary chats with the artist in her head.
Right.
She felt this kinship, like they must both be dealing with loss. And then she actually found the artist.
Oh, way.
Yeah, had a real conversation about using public art to share these life-affirming ideas. But then they both felt this real annoyance, grief even, when the construction company just whitewashed it. Gone.
Oh, that's harsh. Right.
Well, there were rumors, maybe something about people with HIV, or maybe just the very idea of such a public, intense longing for love felt threatening, like society just wanted to erase it.
That says a lot in itself.
It really does.
And the power of that mom, it just stays with her. She keeps photos of the graffiti above her kitchen sink. Still.
A daily reminder.
Exactly. A daily reminder that we yearn for love, that we seek it even when we lack hope that it really can be found. And that feeling, that personal story, it really opens up this wider thing about how we talk, or maybe how we don't talk, about love these days. So let's zoom out from that, because that personal silence kind of mirrors a bigger cultural silence, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
The source points out, sure, popular culture, movies, music, books, that's where we often see the yearning for love expressed.
Right.
But the actual conversation about it, that's changed a lot.
It really has. If you think back, the 60s and 70s had this really life-affirming vibe, all you need is love. That was the message.
Yeah, like that mantra.
But today, the messages floating around often feel like love is meaningless, irrelevant. Think about Tina Turner. What's love got to do with it?
A classic example.
Or the author mentions this interview with a famous female rapper. Asked about love, she just shoots back, "Love? What's it? I've never had any love in my life." Just pure sarcasm. It's a huge shift.
And that shift, it creates this cynicism, especially among younger people. Harold Kushner wrote about this concern.
And when all you've ever wanted isn't enough.
Yeah, he worried we might be raising a generation afraid to love, afraid to really give themselves to someone else because they've just seen too much hurt when it doesn't work out.
It's a heavy thought. And why? Why so much fear? The source puts it so bluntly. Ultimately, cynicism is the great mask of the disappointed and betrayed heart.
Wow. So cynicism isn't the default state, it's a defense.
Exactly. A protective shell we build up because of past hurts. It's easier than risking love again.
And building on that, think about the resistance people feel just talking about love, especially in, say, social justice spaces. The author notes how audiences, young people particularly, get kind of agitated when she brings up love's role in these movements.
Which is fascinating because historically, all the great movements for social justice have strongly emphasized a love ethic. Love was sensitive.
Right. It was seen as powerful, revolutionary even.
But now, young listeners often seem to think love is, like, naive, for the weak, the hopelessly romantic. It's a total disconnect from the roots of those movements.
It's like an automatic rejection. Elizabeth Wurtzel nailed this feeling too in Bitch. She said something like, "None of us are getting better at loving. We are getting more scared of it.
Oof.
We weren't given good skills. And our choices just reinforce that it's hopeless and useless. It's a pretty bleak assessment of where we are.
And it's not just young people. The source talks about this discomfort across the board, even with older folks, talking about love, especially admitting you don't feel loved enough.
People get uncomfortable.
Yeah. The author mentions friends suggesting therapy when she brought it up. Maybe partly out of concern, sure, but maybe also out of fear. Fear of what digging into love might uncover about themselves. It's messy stuff.
So, given all this avoidance, it's really interesting when the source looks at who historically got to define love. And there's this clear gender thing going on.
Right. Most of the big revered books on love, academic stuff, self-help, you name it, mostly written by men.
Which the author finds kind of paradoxical. She feels women probably think about love more intensely, but visionary female thinking on the subject has yet to be taken as seriously as the thoughts and writings of men.
Yeah, the source draws this really sharp distinction. Men theorize about love, but women are more often love's practitioners.
Men build the theories, women live it day to day.
Exactly.
And you see it in literature. Needleman's A Little Book About Love. Almost all men's stories. Before feminism really took hold, even Elizabeth Barrett Browning, How Do I Love Thee, was often seen as just a minor poet.
Hard to believe now, but yeah. It took post-feminism for someone like Sappho to get her due as a major voice on love.
And the author shares this really personal story that hits home. As a girl, she wrote love poems, felt confident.
Published one young.
Yeah, age 12. But later, as an adult, her attempts felt mushy and pathetic. She started believing women just didn't have anything serious to say about love.
It's incredibly sad.
So she actually switched topics, started writing about death instead, because there, she says, her seriousness wasn't questioned.
Wow, that really shows the societal pressure, devaluing women's voices on heart matters.
But then comes this turning point. She's nearing 40, facing cancer scares, a really serious illness.
Yeah.
And she realizes, I was not ready to die because I had not yet found the love my heart had been seeking. And boom, that brings her right back to thinking deeply about love.
It often takes something that drastic, doesn't it? A confrontation with mortality to see what truly matters.
Absolutely. And this connects to another point the source makes, how pop culture often frames love as fantasy.
Right, the stuff of fantasy. And maybe that's why men did more theorizing, because fantasy has primarily been their domain.
What does that mean exactly?
Well, the idea suggested is that male fantasy is often seen as something that creates reality, whereas female fantasy is viewed more as pure escape, less tangible.
Okay.
And you see it in genres like romance novels. A male author, like the one who wrote The Bridges of Madison County, often gets way more critical acclaim or reward than a woman writing similar stuff.
And it's not just about recognition for male authors, is it? The source suggests something maybe even more subtle.
Yeah, that even though women buy most of the love books, maybe some female sexist thinking plays a part.
Meaning?
Meaning some women might subconsciously feel they'll get more value reading what men say about love because they think they already know what another woman thinks.
That's a provocative idea, sort of an internalized bias.
It could be. And it leads us to this really critical question the source raises. Why do so few writers tackle how patriarchy itself affects love?
You mean how male dominance gets in the way?
Exactly. The source mentions John Bradshaw's Creating Love as one rare example that directly links male domination and the lack of love of families.
But his work didn't get the same spotlight.
Apparently not. Not like other books that maybe even unintentionally end up supporting traditional sexist gender roles. It seems like society prefers to keep those discussions separate.
Which makes sense if you consider the different starting points the source identifies. Men often speak about love from a place of having received it, which gives them a kind of authority.
Right. Whereas women, the source suggests, often speak from a position of lack, of not getting the love they needed, which changes their whole perspective and how they're heard.
And this difference in experience often gets explained away by those inherent differences, ideas like men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Yeah, that popular stuff. But the source is really firm here. The concrete proof shows these differences in perspective. They're learned. They're not innate, not natural.
Which is huge, because if they're learned,
they can be unlearned, transformed. These rules aren't set in stone.
Okay, so if these are learned patterns, not destiny, then that silence we talked about earlier, the one surrounding love in everyday life, it makes more sense.
How so?
It's like a shield, right, for everyone. We want to know love, but we're scared. Scared that wanting to know too much about love will lead us closer and closer to the abyss of lovelessness. Better not to poke it.
That's a powerful way to put it. And the paradox the source points out is just glaring. We live in a largely religious nation, always talking up love's power.
Constantly.
Yet so many people feel totally clueless. They do not have a clue as to how to love. It's just easier to talk about loss than love.
There's a massive gap between the ideal and the reality.
A huge gap.
And maybe it goes back to basic education. We're taught the mind is where learning happens, not the heart.
Right. So talking about love with real emotion, with emotional intensity, gets coded as weak or irrational.
Another roadblock to just having an honest conversation.
Definitely. But even with all these roadblocks, all this cultural uncertainty, this bombardment of seeing love fail everywhere, politics, religion, family, romance,
Even with all that,
deep down the source insists we all want to know more. What does it mean to love? What can we actually do to love and be loved? That desire persists.
it does. Despite everything, we still hope that love will prevail. We still believe in love's promise. It's like that graffiti, again, the hope is in believing, in searching for those truths.
Yeah. And here's the kicker, the really sharp contrast. Our society is also equally driven by sexual obsession. There are how-to classes for absolutely everything related to sex.
Everything.
But schools for love do not exist. We just assume people know how, learn it from family.
Which, as the source points out, often means spending your life trying to undo the damage from that very family, cruelty, neglect, and all manner of lovelessness.
Exactly. A lifetime cleaning up the wounds from the place that was supposed to teach you love in the first place.
So where does that leave us? The source offers this really powerful, almost healing thought. Only love can heal the wounds of the past.
Only love.
But to even begin that healing, to open our hearts, we must dare to acknowledge how little we know of love in both theory and practice. We have to admit our ignorance.
That takes courage to say, I don't actually know this thing I thought I knew.
Definitely.
And this source material, it really feels like a guide for that, a meditation it's called, to help us return to love. It's not just pointing out problems, it's offering radical new ways to think about the art of loving. It ends with this hopeful, really joyous vision of love's power to transform.
Wow. What a journey we've taken in this deep dive, from cynicism and silence to this.
Yeah.
This potential for transformation. It's clear love isn't just some passive feeling.
No, it's a practice,
Yeah.
an art, something we have to actively learn and relearn.
A force that can push back against cynicism, against patriarchy even, and its absence, that lovelessness, it leaves real wounds.
It really does. We started with that one person's crisis, that graffiti message, and ended up looking at this huge cultural picture and finally a callback to ourselves. It reminds you that wanting love, searching for it, that's not weak. It's fundamentally human. It's that search even in the face of great odds.
So the final thought for you listening right now, reflect on this. What if our silence, our collective hesitation to treat love as something worth serious study, worth practicing? What if that's the very thing holding us back from the healing we crave? How might your life, your day-to-day, your connections, your inner world, how might it shift if you actually made time consciously to converse with your heart directly about love the way those ancient cultures supposedly did? Something to think about.